Is that good? No?
Yep.
They are, okay. This is a Community Preservation Committee meeting on May 30th, 2023. And present are on the Community Preservation Committee are myself, Ann Mazar, the chair, and the representative from the Land Use Committee. And I'm just going to introduce, it's Mike Goddard, representing the Select Board, Peter Denton, representing the Housing Authority, and Barry Idarola, representing the Planning Board. We can't get the TV to work, so that's why it's on the screen here like this. So the first thing is use of CPA administrative funds for the paddock closing. And so we need to survey the property and mark the boundaries, and that will be around $17,500. We have the legal costs, which I asked town council what they would be, but she didn't get back to me in time. But I do know with the Pearson property, they were $12,000, and that was in 2015, although that was a much more complicated purchase than this is. This is pretty straightforward. And then the other thing that we would need to do is buy title insurance. So I'd like to vote this so that we can do it in this fiscal year. So we could, you want to do it? Yeah. And so I guess I'd like to do an up to vote because I just don't know how much town council is going to cost, you know?
You got a total number?
Well,
Like 17 plus 12 is
it's like 30,000.
plus legal fees though, right?
Well, the legal fees I think would be,
But
I mean,
sure.
and-
There was a third thing you mentioned.
title insurance. And I don't think it's that much. And I don't think that the town council will be $10,000. But so I think that if we voted $30,000, I think that should cover us. And I don't think that we'll use it all. So what's your opinion on that?
I would go up to 30. You say 30, I say 35. You get a buffer.
Something.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we have voting,
Right.
Okay,
if you get a surprise, we get something to work.
okay. Someone want to make that motion?
I move we allocate up to $35,000 to cover engineering, legal, and insurance fees. Or do I need to specify an account?
Sure.
CPA administrative, yeah,
I'm CPA administrative.
okay. Any more discussion or questions? Nope, okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. The next one is 52 Providence Street Engineering, but I don't have costs on that yet, so that we will do it in a meeting in the future. But I don't know, Phil
Yeah. the
or
reason
Peg, I don't know if you had any questions?
I did have a few. The reason I joined, oh, I'm sorry.
You'll see the progress that you've been making because it will affect us as well at the
Okay.
senior center.
Okay, well, so on 52 Providence Street, that's where we're trying to build affordable housing. We put out the request for proposals. We did not receive any. But we did debriefing interviews with the people who the companies were interested, but didn't in the end apply to find out what they needed. And what they needed was more engineering done on the property. And so that's what we're considering now.
Yes. I guess I should raise my hand here, Ann. This is Phil.
Okay, Phil has a question, sorry.
Yeah, I do. The question I have, if we're gonna go ahead with that, and considering that we're abutting to you, we have the same survey activity that we're gonna start eminently for the senior center, trying to figure out well and septic. I certainly think we should try to figure out how to get some synergy between the two projects. If you have someone who's gonna do that activity for your land to do the infrastructure study, right, or whatever you call it.
Yep.
I think that in turn, we should just pigtail on that, because the well, I think, is gonna wind up being located somewhere on that 70-some acres. Or you're somewhere, based on what I heard from Joel a few months ago.
The well
And then the
will
other-
be, yep,
That'll be an independent well, not the wells you're looking at for the housing. But the other
No, it's
piece,
only
would-
for the housing. The wells can only be used for the housing because we
Agreed.
use CPF funds.
I agree. What I'm saying is that if we figure out how we could use that same study and link the fact that that property has, the senior center has contingency needs based on that property, maybe we can use the same engineering firm to do both.
Okay. I wrote a note that when we're gonna meet and talk about what engineering needs to be done, the town planner will be involved and Bill McHenry. And so I wrote a note that we'll invite you.
Very good. And then the
Okay.
other second part of that, as you look at that property, same meeting probably, would be to be able to handle the population density of 250 to 300 people in the center. We talked I think informally about, we may need to figure out how to use acreage within that property or other open property to be able to use for the sewage calculation. So that should all be part of that same meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like a lot of it has to be open space because of the zone for the wells. So I don't know if you can use that area for like your nitrogen calculation for the septic. I'm not sure on that. But Joel would know.
But yeah, Joe mentioned that his thoughts were that we could use property in the abutting area because the whole housing development would not require the 72 acres.
True.
Joel indicated that before. I
True.
guess what I'm saying is if we do look at 52, we're right next to you with needs of portions of that 52 and or other open space behind it. And if you're gonna do an engineering study, it would just make financial sense to figure out how to couple them loosely or uncouple them somehow to save us money, I would think.
Okay.
We have some funds for the study. We have, and also for the building design. We're ready to trigger the design and set up our committee, hopefully in the next few weeks.
Okay.
So I think we're really close to being synced. So if you invite me to that, then maybe we'll pull other people into it as necessary.
Okay.
Meg may also be there. I think she's in the room.
Yes, she is.
Hi, Peg.
Come on up.
Did you have a question, Barry?
I was wondering what type of engineering we're talking about.
Well, one of them would be how to get to the site because it would require a wetlands crossing. And so to have an engineer say what's the best way in. And so that would be one thing. And then the other one was they would do directional drilling for the wells. And so they wanted more information on what would be the path of that. And so that would be another study or plan put together. And there might be something else, but those are the two big ones.
So across. Yeah, you bring up that point, Peg. I'm sorry, I'm not in the room. The access for the senior center parking, I think, is the same, very close to where the access to that affordable housing is.
It could be. So
so I
that's
think
another reason to
that's-
coordinate.
Yeah, same.
I'm sorry, Barry, say that again?
Subdivision,
Yeah,
depending upon how the units are laid out.
yeah. It's, the thing is that it's such a small area that they're putting it on that the one access would get you to the same site, no matter what the configuration is. Yes. Yeah, because it's like a dry 3.5 acres that it would go on. Mike?
Yeah, so Phil, I don't know, after Senator Fatman's visit, he talked about possibly funding and how threw out the idea that in Webster, I guess, they had a combined senior center with housing. And he thought that might be a better way to induce some state funding, be easier to get it. Has there been any more thought about that?
Not that I've read, but maybe Phil has. Did you hear any more from them?
No, I haven't heard any further, but to your point, Mike, I think it's a consideration we could have but that could complicate the affordable housing decision. Because that's affordable to the general population and not necessarily senior based. It's a good point.
I'll bring it up to Jack Hunter, who's the planner and is really versed in affordable housing. So he
That'd be
might
great.
be able to
And
tie it in.
My biggest concern is design. So you seem to have a design for expanding the senior center now.
We do.
So this would kind of upend that a little bit. So I mean, from regardless of what the senator says, I think the people that were on the committee so far probably need to have an opinion on whether or not they want to use, because this would be a sort of a redesign, but you might have more flexibility when you bring both properties into, thought here in
Mhm.
terms of what that could be.
Well, if we cut costs for both of us, that's a win for the town. I'm curious, none of them, how many people had said they were interested in the property to do this?
Well, those 3 different companies that came in.
And why do you think that they haven't followed through? You said more engineering has to be
Mhm.
done?
It's a tough site because there's a lot of wetlands, and so,
Well, that's where you come in to make sure it's done correctly. Do
then they'd feel more confident.
you think it'll come to fruition?
We'll see,
See,
hopefully.
we don't want to really wait too much longer for our senior center expansion because of a lot of our seniors aren't even able to attend certain activities. I mean, you were down there.
Mhm.
We're pretty much at the seams.
Mhm.
I would agree with you, Ann. I mean, I think since this project's being looked at to spend money now, the 52 Providence, we should at least talk to each other, but if it doesn't, we should proceed
Mhm.
right away, because I don't want to get hung up in, because this will probably take longer because of all the other things you have to do for affordable housing. We
Yeah.
should have a building complete, or the corner of a building complete if it's connected, to Mike's point, before this housing ever hits the ground.
But we
Just
still
no-
might be able to coordinate the engineering anyways.
Correct. I think it's worth it coordinate. I don't want to tie the projects, because I think the timelines are different potentially. But the engineering study and surveys looks like a lot of the same ground, Ann. I think.
Okay. Right, so hopefully next meeting we'll have more information, but right now I just don't.
Okay. And that's what, a couple of weeks,
In a month.
month?
And I'm not sure when it'll be because it's the first Tuesday of the month and you've got the July 4th, so I'm not sure how that falls, but it'll be on the town calendar though.
Okay, as we move forward, Ann, I'll keep you in the notes of what our committee, because I would hope that our committee's in place and we're proceeding along. So at
Mhm.
least you'll know, and Jack will try to keep him in the loop.
Okay,
would
yes,
hope that-
definitely keep Jack in the loop, yep. Mhm.
Okay.
All right. All right, did you guys get a chance to look at the minutes of the meetings?
By 2/23.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. How about the other ones? The 4/4 and 4/24?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, aye. Oh, do I have you down? You were
Here in
there?
spirit.
Or 4/4? Right. Okay, you're good there. All right. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And 4/24,
Is that our phone call? With
uh,
Dan and-
4/24. Yes, it was all remote. Yep.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of 4/24.
Well, okay, the only thing is if, so Barry wasn't there and Peter wasn't there. So can we
You
approve,
could step down in second if you want.
but then could 2 people approve them though?
Yeah, let's wait.
Yeah, so I think we have to wait on that one, okay? All right,
Like a 10-minute phone call. That was a quick one.
yeah. All right, and that's all I have, unless you have anything else.
Second.
All right,
Thank you. Good night.
okay,
Bye.
thank you. All those in favor? Aye,
Hey Peg, I'll see you tomorrow.
bye-bye.
You don't want to be here on the
Techno,
fourth.
the